Euporia is one of the best face weapons in Elden Ring, and in today's video, I'm going to cover all the necessary information you need to fully take advantage of this fantastic weapon, including how to power up Euporia, what are the best attack moves to charge it up, as well as answering very important question, and that is whether it's better to use a single Euporia or power sense it with another Twinblade or even another Euporia. All the information in this guide is up to date to the latest Elden Ring patch 1.14, and by the end of this guide you should have all the necessary information to play one of the strongest face builds right now in Elden Ring. So without any further delay, let's get started. Euporia is a twin blade weapon that deals holy and physical damage. Phase is extremely important for our build since not only it would increase the holy damage portion that Euporia deals, but also its weapon skill, Euporia Vortex, which deals 100% holy damage and scales only with phase. Euporia relies on a very simple yet extremely powerful mechanic called Luster. As you land successive attacks with this twin blade, you will build up a Luster buff on your weapon that will increase Euporia holy damage and allow you to deal insane amounts of damage with its weapon skill. Euporia has two Luster states, a half charged and a fully charged. The half charged will add a bonus of 95 holy damage to your attacks while increasing the damage and duration of the Euporia weapon skill. The fully charged will add additional holy damage to Euporia weapon attacks and further increase the weapon skill damage and duration. You can spend your Luster buff to enhance Euporia Vortex and turn it into a deadly laser beam that not only deals extremely high holy damage, but also 60 poise damage from range, which is absolutely strong. The damage and duration of Euporia's weapon skill would depend on whether you have charged or fully charged the Luster buff. A fully charged Euporia will last longer and deal more damage. So far, it sounds simple enough. We will land attacks to build up Luster buff on Euporia, then spend Luster by using Euporia Vortex to decimate our enemies. However, the most important thing you should be aware of is that different attack moves build up different amounts of Luster. For example, you can half charge Euporia after landing 3 two-handed light attacks or a single fully charged heavy attack. With so many attack moves like running, rolling, jumping, etc., you are probably wondering what is the most optimal way to build up Luster. And the answer is the Euporia two-handed light attacks are the fastest way to build up Luster. You can half charge Euporia after landing 3 light two-handed attacks, or you can fully charge it by landing 5 light attacks. Having said that, I'm not saying you should ignore or not use Euporia's other attack types. For example, the running R1 is an excellent opener in most encounters because it is fast, and after that you can seemingly transition into light attacks. And as I mentioned before, one single charged heavy attack will half charge your Luster, while 2 charged heavy attacks will maximize your Luster buff. The problem with charged heavy attacks is that it takes a long time to land one, let alone 2 of them. The other thing is that the twin blades weapon type has poor hyper armor, making you easily susceptible to interruptions. However, if there is a window for a fully charged heavy attack, absolutely land one. Not only will you deal more damage and build up more Luster, but you will also deal more poise damage. One important question that is likely looming over your head right now is, what about power sense? Is it better to power sense to Euporia to build up Luster faster? The short answer is that it is by far better to two-hand a single Euporia to build up Luster than power sense 2 of them. One of the reasons why you consider this idea in the first place is to take advantage of twin blade power sense jump attack because it allows you to attack 4 times while in the air. I know this because I had the exact same idea when I first saw this weapon, but this is in fact a terrible moveset to build up Luster since it will take a minimum of 4 jump attacks to only have charged Luster on the Euporia. The second reason is that even though building Luster while power sense 2 Euporia will charge up both twin blades simultaneously, you will not be able to take advantage of this since using Euporia Vortex will deplete the Luster from both weapons. The final and crucial piece of information I want to mention before we move on to the character sheet is that Luster will immediately start to decay after you land your attacks. For example, we know that landing 2 charged heavy attacks back to back will immediately fully charge Euporia. However, if you took a small pause between those 2 attacks, you will still end up with only half charged Euporia and not a fully charged one. I guess my point here is to try to be a little more aggressive when you are trying to build up Luster, and once it's charged, don't sit on it for too long because it will slowly expire. A fully charged Euporia buff will last around 1 minute. You can take advantage of this by attacking a few enemies to charge Euporia before a boss encounter, and enter with a fully charged Euporia. We are going to use the Sword of Light to increase the holy damage we deal, especially during Euporia Vortex. You can use the Sword of Light weapon skill before any fight to increase all your holy damage by 20% for 1 minute. You should also use Golden Bow to increase all your damage done and damage negation for 80 seconds. If you are confident enough, you can use Howl of Shabriri to increase all your damage done by 25% for 40 seconds. But be aware that you will also take 30% extra damage. Use the Erdtree seal to cast your incantations because it has 0 weight and has very strong incant scaling if you decide to add a couple of ranged incantations to your build like Nice Lightning Spear or Miklas Light. Euporia has strong synergy with multi-hit talismans like Rotting Winged Sword Insignia and Millicent's Prosthesis. However, if you don't have either of these talismans, you can use the two-handed sword talisman instead. This will increase your two-handed weapon attacks by 15%, but will not boost the damage of your weapon skill. Use Shard of Alexander to increase Euporia Vortex damage by 15%. For the last slot, if you want to squeeze more damage, use Sacred Scorpion Charm to boost all your holy damage by 12%. However, if you want to play on the safe side, use the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman to reduce physical damage taken by 20%. For the Flask of Wondrous Physic, we are using Thorny Cracked Tear. Similar to Millicent's Prosthesis and Rotting Winged Sword Insignia, this will significantly ramp up your damage based on the number of successive attacks you land. For the second slot, you should use Holy Shrouding Cracked Tear to increase all holy damage done by 20% for 3 minutes. As for the armor, if you find yourself using plenty of rolling and running attacks, then you should use Leda's armor since it increases those attacks damage by 10%. However, if you want to maximize the damage of Euporia Vortex, you are better off using Rakshasa armor set to increase all your damage done by 2% per piece. My starter class here is a Prophet. At 150 I have 60 Vigor, which is ideal for most Elden Ring content. 25 Mind is more than enough for this build, even if you decide to add 1 or 2 offensive incantations. You only need 23 Endurance to have medium roll with the current equipment load. Unless you are planning to power sense a second Euporia, there is no point in meeting the minimum requirements of strength. Just by two-handing any weapon, you automatically multiply your strength score by 1.5. As for dexterity, since you are using Millicent's Prosthesis, which adds +5 to the dexterity score, we only need to invest a single point in dexterity as a Prophet to meet the dexterity requirement for Euporia. Face is our most important attribute for this build, and it will directly increase the damage of Euporia attacks and weapon skill. With this much face, you will also have access to some of the strongest incantations in the game, like Nice Lightning Spear, which will allow you to overcome encounters with high holy resistance like Elden Beast from the base game. I must say I'm very happy I covered this weapon. I enjoyed very much this playstyle of powering up Euporia then releasing the charge to decimate my enemies. There are similar weapons with similar unique and fun playstyles that I'm going to cover in my upcoming videos. Make sure to subscribe so you wouldn't miss that out. I hope you enjoyed this guide. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this build or Elden Ring in general, please let me know. Once again, thanks for watching and have a great day.